Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been way too damn long. Welcome back to Why and all of its wondrous mystery and shenanigans thereupon. We have everybody, the usual cast, back in town and safe and sound here where I can ruin their lives. We're going to take things
Yay.
alphabetically, and I'm going to start with Aki. How you doing
Yeah.
this week?
Doing good.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Carmine.
Hello.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Jeff.
How you doing there, feller?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Jinx.
Hard.
Magnificent, magnificent. And lastly, and certainly not least, the irascible Lefman.
Hi.
When last we left, our protagonists, they had entered the town of Tower Place and were staying at the Gobble Inn. These nuts! The premier lodging place here in the town. As some of you are no doubt looking at the map right now, you may have noticed something, namely the giant ass river running through town. Yes, you need to take boats. If you don't take
Yeah.
boats, there are gators to encourage you to get in the boat. And I believe that we left off in the morning after Chef realized that he could not actually cook for people here because the kitchen is goblin sized.
Boo.
Does anyone have a transform spell? Some sort? Polymorph? Let me see.
No, I'm
No.
fighting the reptile puppy instinct at this point.
Let me see what I have. I don't believe I have anything that I can transform someone else. I do not.
Aki, how much of that conversation was out loud?
Um, None of it, honestly.
Okay.
I think it was generally me looking through my spells and an excuse just to remember everything that I had.
All right. Yeah. I have
Uh,
set you guys loose in town. You can go where you like. Get up to what you want to get up to.
Real quick, DM, I wanted to ask about these boats. Are they just like regular rock rowing boats?
Yes.
Okay. Would all,
Some of them are enchanted, some of them aren't. The ones that aren't are relatively capable of being pulled by like teams of 4 goblins.
Are they
It
goblin
looks
size?
like it looks like most of them are family affairs, and it's just if somebody's got managed to spend enough time or at or around the academy to get their boat enchanted to just work.
so it's basically never mind. They're all enough for every single one of us to fit in one boat, or do we need to split the party?
They they each sit like 10 people.
Okay.
So
Um,
if you guys don't want to split up, you don't have to. But off the top of my head, if like Carmine wants to head to the Swamp Oasis, Aki wants to go to the Academy, and they let him onto that island for some reason. Chef and Jinx want to go check out the Well-Tempered Anvil, and Lefman wants to head down to Dry Pen Potions. Like That's also an option.
I am gonna let someone else talk and select what they want to do.
Aki is considering his options.
Do they have paint at the Swamp Oasis?
Yeah.
Hey there, Miss Carmine. What is your paint situation looking like right now?
Let me examine my colors. Do. Well, I have the base colors to do some mixing for basically every color, but if I can buy myself some paint and time so that I don't have to mix as much paint and waste as much, that would be nice.
Shall we go over there and check out the mundane goods shop?
Sure.
Head over to the mundane goods store.
All right, the Swamp Oasis. Out front there
I'll go
is a person who is tall for a goblin, which is to say about Leffman size. Putting out a sign that says, "Come in, we're open." And painted across over the door is the Swamp Oasis. All of your goods, uh, all of your goods for school and study and travel. Hello, hello. Yes, yes. You want to come in? Yes. Good. Hello, hello.
Are you open by any chance?
We are now.
Oh, that's so good. I
Come
saw the
in. I am
on the
Mr.
sign.
Ashley.
We're actually what are we looking for, Miss Carmine?
Do you have any paints by chance, or possibly items that I can mix into paints?
He is standing with the door wide in one hand, and he points behind him. Third aisle from the left wall in the back is art supplies.
Are they quality art supplies or are they just like
Everything I have is quality.
good? Oh, good, good, good.
I do not traffic in subpar goods.
I mean,
And he pulls the lapels of his shirt forward, and moves his shoulders back.
it's nothing that we have not heard before, if you know what I mean, Carmine, and just it's like nudging her to egg on.
Oh my goodness. She's just gonna go shove past him, go to where the aisle he asked or said us.
Um, you have been in dedicated. Um, so he said art supplies are in the back. The third aisle is dedicated to um, writing implements. It's got like blank books in here. It's got stationery. It has pens. It has pencils. It has sets of charcoal. Um, it has like large sheets of vellum, presumably for putting together like presentations and so forth. And in the back, it has um, paints. You have encountered better paints before, um, but for just kind of being in what you realize is kind of a small town off kind of in the middle of nowhere, this selection's pretty good. You're
Aki will
looking
will
for
walk behind her.
just paint stuff and canvases. Uh, you can get um like a decent variety of paints at like 8 or 10 colors, and a couple of small canvases for like 3 silver if you're looking for paints and brushes and jars and a palette and um, a set of small canvases and a little more, portable easel, then you're starting to look at like a gold and a half.
Um, as I'm looking at this stuff, I'm gonna realize I'm freaking poor and I have a really big order that I should be saving on. So I'm just shopping with my eyeballs right now.
Aki is just gonna come up behind Carmine and he says, "Well, how's it look? How's it look?"
Um, it's not too bad. Could be better, could be worse. Surprised to have these items here, but
It's like, okay, okay, I got this, I got this. And he's gonna, well, I've seen far better paint cross the lands.
A goblin worker pokes his head around here. You guys must not be from around here, are you?
No, we're on holiday.
Holiday on what? Oh, you're in for a treat. So this goblin walks up to you, Aki, and they look at your hands, and then they look at Carmine, and they immediately start only talking to Carmine. So how long you been painted for?
for quite some time.
All right, all right. So if you're looking for dedicated art supplies, this is probably going to be the best place coming south of the mountains here in Whithe. Um, unfortunately, most of what we keep stocked here is in case students need supplies um, for various things during the term. Um, if you're looking for something with a little bit more variety, up in Cadiz, they tend to do a little bit more of this sort of thing. And in fact, that's where we order our things in. So
Wait, actually, you mentioned that a lot of students and such come by here. Possibly have you seen older folk come by here that possibly have come by for the school, for the college?
the students will, I mean, the academy will take most anybody who can afford it and who has the inclinations to be a learning. And occasionally they'll do stuff like do things for the community. Um, things
Um,
like how to raise your gators proper and that sort of thing. Um,
right.
but if you're asking for like, will they take a student who is an established adult individual, um, such as myself? Uh, yes.
Sure, sure. No, I'm asking because where does Aki have the brooch?
It's on his
Wearing
lapel
it on
of
a chest.
his, yeah.
Okay. She's going to uh kind of look at Aki with like basically asking him with her eyes, like, may I take it off? While she's still talking to the little goblin.
Um, yeah, Aki goes ahead and unclasps it from himself and hands it over.
I'd like to use Eyes of the City and ask the goblin about the brooch and if he's seen anyone.
Okay. Um, so you're looking to
Seen an older gentleman with a brooch, or even remotely anyone with a brooch that the goblin might have seen pass by, or know someone who might have known someone who might have seen.
so I'm not a particularly I don't like to pay a lot of attention to customers unless they're being shifty or are painters such as ourselves. Um, But if you're looking for someone, but if this person was trying to get into the academy, old Bewan remembers everybody who tries to walk through that door.
Do you mind spelling his name for me?
Behwan. Bewan.
W-A-N. Baywan. And who is he exactly?
Oh, he's the gatekeeper
Gatekeep.
at the
Got it.
academy. Yeah.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
fair warning, if you're coming in at the wrong time or you don't have a proper reason to be there, he'll make sure you don't come in. He's very good at that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's no way of bribing him or anything either.
I've never heard of anybody succeeding.
That's fair. It's probably
Sure,
a
it's
well.
not exactly the sort of thing that would get plastered around now, would it?
That's true. That's true. It's
Does
also
he
good for the security of the college.
Yeah,
does
yeah.
he hang out with anyone in particular, or is he just a loner?
Not that I can think of. Honestly, a lot of the academy folks, they don't really like leaving that little island out in the middle of the river. But
Okay.
a couple of the students have come through, and that's where a lot of the infrastructure, and that's where a lot of the stars around here that support magical stuff and whatnot comes from, like Joss Nesha, and for that
Just,
matter, Cloud, but you didn't hear that from me.
just by curiosity, how would one get an invitation to get into the academy? Or
They take most folks in between terms, but we're in the middle of one right now.
is there anyone in particular that we could talk to about possibly getting in?
You're unlikely to get one of the professors coming out. The students won't have enough cash, so honestly, I don't have a good. But if you're that desperate to get in, best and worst thing you can do is go talk to Pawan.
Fair enough.
Maybe
Uh,
just Oresha or Royal or Clalad will vouch for you. But good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Carmen will give the brooch back to Akim, put it on his lapel for him.
All right.
Sorry about that. I was hoping I would have some better quality paints for you.
It's okay. I do like getting my sources naturally from the wild, so I'll try and practice that maybe if I have the chance.
I can give you a natural brown.
I didn't ask you, Rat.
So,
Yellow too.
you all want to run over and check out the rest of this berg before we head to the college to get murdered by college people?
Oh, we don't have to rush to the college anytime soon. I think a supply event is probably good.
So I guess take a boat over across the way.
All right. Over here ish.
Yes. See what else the town has to offer. Is there any charge to use the boats or anything?
No, they are in fact free of charge. Treated as a public service.
Well, then hop on a boat and get to getting.
Well, hi there. Where are you going then?
I reckon we're gonna go across the way over there and point to the other side where the other shops are.
All right. Well, you lot seem to be martially inclined, so how about I take you over to Joss and Asha? We'll get you all set up over there.
Much obliged.
Yeah. Five of you over there. There is kind of like a cutaway. There's like a broad section with like a couple of restaurants off to your left and off to your right, and then in the middle there's kind of like a cutaway loop. One side is labeled with the Well-Tempered Anvil, and the other side is labeled as Secrets, Storms, and Stars. And on either side of this cutaway, there's like a stone pillar sunk into the ground, flanking each entrance.
Bop. I see what you did there. Chef's gonna start making his way over to the large gentleman, not wearing a big hat. Morning.
Morning, Derry.
How you doing this morning, there, feller?
He looks behind you at a goblin who's just sitting on a rock in a gigantic hat, kicking her legs in the air. You have to complain, Derry.
Now that there is a mighty impressive piece of headwear, if I do say.
Which one are you talking to?
I am talking to you, kind sir.
Oh, just a pair of goggles there, bub.
Well, I am speaking of the youngin' in the giant hat over there.
Yeah, I like the hat.
Oh, so what do you have in your establishment, kind sir?
So behind and kind of around the ogre, um, you see a forge, and off to his right there's like a collection of um farm tools and ammunition, and then all along the back wall is just lined with stones that seem to be wrapped in um like leather thongs, just hanging on the wall. What you looking for there, eh?
Well, to be honest with you there, feller, I'm Chef, by the way. What's your name?
Just
One more time, I'm pretty near deaf.
just
Just?
just
Yes?
just
Fair enough, feller. I'm looking for something to Chef will... Excuse me, this is not intended in an intimidating manner.
Before, eh?
He's going to pull out his Buster Sword. I love this here thing, but I've heard tale that you can beef these things up a little bit. That there are people scattered throughout the lands who can beef these things up a little bit. Make them a little more potent, a little more pungent. You know, like putting a wine on top of your steak, like putting a wine sauce on top of your steak. That there is kind of what I'm looking for here.
He looks down at it. Wifey? You just hear a little voice coming from behind you. Yes, love? And he reaches over your head and he just gestures, hey, come over here. Goblin hops, and the rest of you watch as the goblin hops off of the rock and walks on over. She takes a look at the sword. That's what I think it is. You think it's a bloody relic seed? It is. It's something real special. So, Mr. Cook, you say that you want this thing to get ruined up proper?
What do you mean by roomed up?
All right. He takes the sword inside and he says, "Follow me."
Chef will
For
follow.
that matter, if your friends want to come up and get this bitch too, so I only have to do it once, I'd appreciate that now. So come on, all of you. Come on, Annie.
Jinx turns around and she is absolutely purple, trying to keep her mouth shut. And she's like, oh my god, it's a pocket goblin.
What do you mean, bucket goblin?
This one right here she is not so good with the speaky bits.
I would like to point out the one labeled Starseeker Esha is about the same size as Jinx.
How big is the other dude?
Like 9 feet tall.
Okay, so I'm legitimately looking up.
Yeah.
She's literally a pocket goblin.
She comes up to his knee.
Yeah, she's a pocket goblin.
Chef will shoot an evil look at Jinx. Like a shut the fuck up evil look.
Jinx puts both hands across her mouth and just, you can see her eyes are just kind of dancing merrily, like she is just having the best time, but she doesn't say anything more.
All right, Derry. So, welcome to runes. Runes are absolutely fascinating, and we got 3 broad kinds of them. He's using the Buster Sword one-handed as kind of a baton. So, you got your first set over here. They're called your foundational runes. This is the rune that all the rest of them are going to be built on. You can get them upgraded over time, but honestly, you're going to need to find somebody better than me, and I'm probably the 3rd best runesmith on the island, so good fucking luck. Following on from the foundational rune, you got your fundamental rune. So for Sard, like this, he points at the foundational runes. This will get the Sard to be better at sorting things. It'll mean that you're sorting more accurate. It'll mean that when you do score a hit, it'll dig a little deeper. Following on from that, you've got your striking runes. Your striking runes are kind of the generic weapon, arty, mari stuff. Honestly, they're useful, but particularly interesting if you pick up what I mean. They also can get upgraded, and once again, you're going to need somebody better than me to bloody finding one. Then you got the fun stuff. And he points at like the half the right what is the right half of the back wall to you guys. Over here you got your property roads. This is the sort of place where you want to if you want to do things like light your sword on fire or be able to stab ghosts with it or any number of other useful abilities. Or for that matter, turn it into a hammer. So
And what? Sorry, I apologize.
Sorry, what?
I apologize for interrupting. Please continue, sir.
So, as I said, you can upgrade your foundational and your fundamental runes over time, and the stronger your foundation gets, the more properties you're able to stake on. So,
And
he places the sword down on the anvil. So, what kind of runes are you looking for?
well, what kind of compensation would be required for something
That
of
depends
this
on what
ilk?
you're looking for.
I really like the idea of it being easier and more effective to stab things with.
All right.
I also, you said fire. I got fire covered. I got fire in spades. Also got cold in spades. But
I was just throwing that out there.
I was thinking, do you got anything that would make it a little shocking?
Actually, yes.
And what kind of compensation would be needed to enhance the sword?
So that really depends. So once again, that depends a little bit on what you're looking for. So if you're looking for just fundamental foundational stuff, then we're looking at a potency and a striking rune. And that's going to run you 100 solid. If you're also looking at getting yourself a property rune, something that'll be a little, well, shocking, as you say, then that's going to be another 500 on top of that.
Above table, we are talking about gold, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking platinum.
I mean, if you want to talk platinum, then you just take all that and divide by 10. But
Well, I know, but you're not talking
some
100
people have trouble doing
platinum.
that sort of math in their heads.
And is this something that you could put onto said weaponry for us, or would we have to procure someone else to install said additions?
So he looks at the stones lining the back wall. Yeah, I've got a shock. I could do it now.
What about that there striking one? Would there be additional charge to install it?
Oh, you need the striking before you start putting the property stuff on.
Yeah, would there be a charge to install a striking?
It was included in the fundamental. So, and he turns around. You got your potency rune, and that's going to be 35. And then you got your striking rune, and that's going to be 65 on top of that. 35 and 65 is. Then, if you're talking property runes, honestly, the I want my sword to do X. Like, I want my sword to be on fire. I want my sword to be on cold. I want my sword to be on shock. To be on conducting electricity. All those are about as hard as any of the others, and they're all going to be burning you about 500.
Okay, so speaking to Catherine here, above table. If I got the fundamentals, it would give me a +2 hit. Would it also get me a +2 damage?
All right. So your potency is going to give you a +1. So your potency is going to give you a +1 on your attack roll. Then here's the fun stuff. Welcome to Pathfinder. The striking rune doesn't actually give you a plus to damage. It gives you extra damage dice.
Yeah, I want to
So
do
if you
that.
put a striking rune onto Chef's Buster Sword, it's going to go from doing 1d12 slashing damage to doing 2d12 slashing damage. If you want to put it onto Jinx's daggers, then it goes from doing 1d4 damage to doing 2d4 damage.
Okay, so what kind of time frame are we talking about to installify this thing? Or these things?
Well, I've got the rune stones already there, eh? So, 5 minutes.
Okay, so you said be 100
The cost
to...
isn't about the labor of installing it. The cost is the labor of replacing the rune stones.
Well, you see, where I come from, the cost is about the cost of the knowledge to install or repair is greater than or equal to the cost of the component needed to fix said object.
Mm-hmm.
So you said for 100 I could get...
+1 striking.
Okay, that is just the striking.
That is just the +1 and the striking.
Well, so that would do the 2d12 then?
You start with the potency, and then you get the fundament. You start with the potency rune, and then you get the fundamental rune for whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm
So you
above
start
the
with
table. Question for you.
Yeah.
When it comes to applying runes, like I have a group of throwing daggers.
Yep.
Would it be, for example, 100 for each dagger to set each dagger up independently, or would you treat them as a group? How would that work?
So looking for the proper one. So unfortunately, yes, it is going to be set up individually. You can get but it means that you can set up each one to do a different kind of damage. It means that you can get each one set up to do a different thing. And I believe that there's also a rune that lets the runes on one of your weapons affect the weapon in your other hand. I think it's called Twinned. I'm having a little bit of trouble finding it right now, but if that rune doesn't exist, I will make it.
Okay, thank you.
Is there also a rune to have amp or whatever return back to their hand too? So if they
Hell yes, there is. There is
so if you have
absolute.
5 throwing daggers, you
Mm-hmm,
could put the return to your hand on all 5
mm-hmm.
and have all 5 do different elemental damage as well.
Yep. There is also an option to, instead of having to throw the dagger, you just hold it out in front of you and make it really long. Like 60 feet long. So you can stab somebody from across the room using your melee option, using your melee attacking.
Okay, I am going to pull out 10 platinum and get the foundational rune and the extra damage.
All right. Like I said, this will take a moment. And he takes your money, and he's got the coins stacked in his left hand. He snaps his fingers over them, and they disappear. And then he reaches behind him and he pulls off 2 of the rune stones, and he takes one of them, and he's standing with it over your sword, and he puts the rock on it. Then he picks up a hammer, and he smashes the rock into the sword. And then he takes the second one, and he puts it on a slightly different place in the on the sword, and he smashes the second rock too.
I just imagine the sound is not pleasant to hear.
I mean, have you ever dropped a rock, a tool onto like a concrete slab?
Yes,
Yeah,
many times.
that's what it sounds like. And yeah, I'm probably gonna regret this. So you now have a +1 Buster Sword of striking. It has a +1 item bonus to attacks, and it does 2d12 damage.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Welcome back.
Plus, I get fire damage when I rage, I believe.
You do, but unfortunately, you do not get extra fire damage.
No, I didn't say it's. So it'd be 2d12 plus 5.
Just making sure that I'm
Oh,
passing that along.
I'm aware.
But yeah, the returning rune is a property rune. When you make a thrown strike with it, it flies back to your hand. Like I said, there's the extending rune. That again lets you stab people from across the room because you make your sword 60 feet long. There are runes that there are runes that you can summon to your hand. There are runes that make people bleed.
Question:
Lots of stuff.
the above the table again. If we apply a rune to, say, a quiver instead of like ammo, does that work on the ammo that's inside the quiver, or it would have to be the actual ammo that gets the effect of the runes?
I'm going to treat this like it was asked in character because I have fun doing this weird
Yes.
Canadian Scots-Irish accent. So, if you're talking about doing stuff for like crossbows or for bows or whatnot, um, the way that I would do it isn't actually enchanting the quiver; it's enchanting the bow. So,
Gotcha.
for example, if we take a property run, say, and he reaches over and he pulls um and he pulls he pulls a rune stone down. So with this, if you hit somebody with it real good, it'll scare people and and they're more likely to run away. And if I wanted to put that onto a whole bunch of arrows, then I wouldn't put it onto arrows. I'd put it onto the bow. And then every time I knock an arrow to it, the arrow becomes magical. One of the great
That
things about runes, one of the great things about rune stones. That's why I love them so much.
is
Just
fascinating.
don't tell the wife, eh?
Just so fascinating to me now.
Yeah. If you're scared about your weapon being taken away from you, then there's runes to fix that. If you're scared, if you want to be able to breathe underwater, if you want your sword to work underwater, there's a rune for that. If you want your weapon to be particularly good at killing giants or dragons or anything else, there's runes for that.
And how many of them there runes can you stack on one particular weaponry?
The strongest foundation is still only going to be so big. So, we started off with your property rune. Alright, and unfortunately this one doesn't have a fun title. It just makes it better at stabbing people. It just makes it so you're more likely to stab people proper with your skewer, right? The strongest that there are 3 levels of this. And the most basic is the version that you've got on here. And that's only going to go 5%-ish. On the other hand, the strongest one is going to make you is going to work about 3 times as well. And just like this one supports 1 property rune in addition to the in addition to the fundamental striking rune that we already have on here, then you can get 1 property into this. If you upgrade it, you can get 2 properties into it. If you upgrade it again, you can get 3 properties. Unless you do something real special, that's going to be it.
So I could only make it slice a little better, and then I would have to upgrade it to be able to electrify it, or would that be something different?
So right now, if you could afford to put the shock rune in, then we could just do that. But once it's got a shock rune in, and you decide that you want to do, say, let's say on top of shocking people, you want them to bleed after you hit them with it. Always. Then that would be a second property rune. And no, it can't do. And you would need to get a stronger foundation before you can put a second property rune in.
Okay, so I see where you're getting with that. I appreciate the information, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, telling customers what's up and what's going on with their tools, never been a bad idea in my experience.
I'm so ready to go and try and stab something now.
So long as it ain't me. And so long as it ain't the wife.
I may look like an idiot, sir, but one thing I am is definitely an idiot.
And that's something we agree about.
I mean, I'm not. Sorry. Words are hard.
That's still something we agree about. You definitely look like an idiot.
I've been wondering, is it the pot?
A little bit.
It's just cozy. Makes my head feel warm. I like it. Plus, I used to cook for these fools.
Hard to have a cook when you're traveling.
Anybody else?
I actually have a genuine question.
Yes?
Just by curiosity, is this the same way that a item can get cursed as well?
So I'm going to answer that question in 3 different parts. Because I noticed that so far we've been mostly talking about weapon stuff, and I want to touch on a couple of other things. This is taking me back to my academy days, and it means that I can learn, and I always like to teach people. So let's begin with other kinds of runes. First things first, just like weapons have runes, you know what else can get runes? Most things. But particularly we're going to talk armor. Once again, you guys seem to be mercenaries, so armor can also get potency runes and it's going to protect you better. Then it has a slightly different foundation. So that's the foundational rune, and then it has a slightly different fundamental. And this fundamental rune is called the resiliency rune instead of the striking rune. And resiliencies are going to do things like an armor potency will protect you from getting stabbed. A resiliency rune will protect you from getting poisoned or lit on fire by a dragon breathing at you, or help you avoid certain spells, that sort of thing. Out of character, resiliency runes give you an item bonus to saving throws. So your armor is supposed to will also protect you from stuff that target saves, which is helpful. Armor also gets property runes, shields work kind of on their own thing, but I don't see anybody here picking up a shield and running around. If I'm honest. You still with me?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can do is there's more recently we've been myself and some of the other folks over at the academy have been experimenting with runing up um not weapons and not armor stuff. And that's where you start running into things like boots that make it so that you'll always land nice and soft, or clothing that never gets dirty. The other way that you can accomplish that is by just enchanting things flat out. And if you want to talk about that, you'll need to talk to my absolutely lovely little wifey over. And he points at the other booth on this section of the town. Now, you were talking about curses. I have never encountered a curse rune. I've never read about a curse rune, and I've never heard about a curse rune. Theoretically, it's possible. This absolutely wasn't me trying to buy time debating whether or not it was possible. However, normally, if you're going to be encountering something like that, it's going to be something that's fundamentally enchanted. You can also encounter certain items that have been fundamentally enchanted appropriate so that they match the same effects as runes. And honestly, back in the day, that's how it was done. But more recently, we've been in the last 200 years or so, people have realized that being able to control and manipulate the sorts of enchantments that you've been having and being able to um, avoid swapping out weapons as they get older and older. It's just kind of nice. And it keeps down some unnecessary expenses there, eh?
True. So theoretically, if we're going along with that, cursed items are technically not entirely cursed, but just happen to have a negatively impacted enchantment or have a mixture of runes that causes disenchantment.
Funny you mentioned something like that because property runes act independently of each other. So let's take an example. And he reaches over and he pulls down two of the property runes and he holds them up in front of you. One of them kind of looks like a fireball if you squint your eyes and look at it really funny, and the other one has a kind of a geometric fractal feeling to it. So if you look at these two, then we've got a get back over to the weapon property rune page. So we've got a flaming rune and a frost rune here, eh, bub? So if I were to put both of these onto a single weapon, it's not like, oh, it's going to light them on fire and then it's going to put the fire out. Instead, it's going to light them on fire and then it's also going to give them frostbite.
Interesting.
Then he puts
Well,
the
thank
rune
you.
shots back.
Could you do something like a recall? Like on my throwing daggers, if I throw it, could
Oh
I
yeah, that's
actually enchant them to where they would come back to me or something along that lines? I got little legs. It takes me forever to get my shit back.
yeah, no, I understand. I'm picking up what you're putting down there, little one. And he reaches over and he pulls down another another property runestone and he tosses it to you. Something like this. And you catch it and you take a look at it and then it disappears and it comes back to his hand.
Yes. Just like that. Exactly.
Yeah, I've got a couple of these lying around. And he puts it back. But you need your foundation proper. Which means that we might as well put and once you've got your foundational property rune, you might as well put in your fundamental striking rune, and that's going to be 100 up front. And then the returning rune property is easier to put together than Frost or Shook or Layman. And that's going to be another 55 on top of that for a total of 155. So and he shrugs. That's what you get there, bub.
Okay. Thank you. James just kind of looks down at her bag and her little side where she's got her daggers and just like, maybe one day. Maybe one day.
I mean, I'm just gonna be that guy and throw Chef under the bus. His extra D4 could have gotten 2 of them enchanted. I'm with +1 to hit. I'm just throwing that out there. uh, Chef,
So
he picks up the sword again, looks at it. The real beauty. Hold on to it, there. Eh?
thank you
Flips it
very
around
much,
his
sir.
hand and holds it out to you. Handle first.
He's going to grab the handle, say thank you before pulling it back. Much appreciated, sir.
He looks at Aki's brooch. Then he looks at the bucket that Carmine is carrying around Sebastian. Then he looks at Chef's sword. And he gestures everybody to come closer. Come on in, eh?
Gee.
As he pulls down his goggles to in front of his face, in front of his eyes. Everybody gathers in close, and he leans down so that his head is among you. All right. So you remember how I said that generally you can only get a certain amount of enchantments in onto a particular item?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Legends tell of old uh, weapons and armor and sometimes other stuff that's magical and it gets stronger over time. And this stuff is called relics because we don't know how to make them anymore. Some say that it's the fortunes of the gods. Some say that it's the favor of higher beings. I say we can become higher beings if we so desire. But we don't know how to build these things yet. Then he points at Aki. About a month and a half ago, guy came through wearing a brooch just like that. Only his was awake. And his is waking up. He points at Chef. That sword of yours can wake up. And then he points at Carmine. And that thing that you've got in that bucket can wake up. As for the other two of you, I don't bloody know what the hell you're going to wind up with. But I get the feeling that the five of you are going to get some stuff that's going to break this out. And I'd really appreciate it if you didn't fuck up my home. Take care out there, eh?
You as well, sir. And any damage done to your domicile will be unintentional.
Jinx is
I'm
listening
in
to
the
all
city.
this and just staring at him, and her eyes just keep getting bigger and bigger. They're like the size of small dinner plates, going, "Wow."
And he rears up to his full height. Hey, wife, eh? You hear a voice from across the way. Yes, darling. Can you come over and grab the small one? She's kind of looking like you on our wedding night.
My.
Tales of the Pocket Goblin. Oh, here we go.
The goblin in the hat has covered her eyes with her hand. Why did I marry him? Why did I marry him? Why is he such a stupid bastard sometimes?
Well, he's got to have something. I mean, and she just kind of waves up, waves down, waves up, waves down, then looks over at her and goes, waves up, waves down, waves up, waves down, and just shrugs
He's
and
not down
grins.
basic runecraft and Slug is smart when he wants to be. Anyhow, nice to meet you. My name's Esha. She holds out her hand for you to shake.
Hello, I'm Jinx.
Pleasure to meet you. What can I do for you, Miss Jenks?
Uh, well, I don't know. He was talking all about some really neat stuff, and then he said I should talk to you. So, what's your neat stuff?
Well, she nods over there. Well, the hubby handles all of the runes and whatnot, and I handle the stuff that doesn't take runes well. So, she claps her hands together twice, and Joe's over across the way has like a permanent structure set up, and Esha has more of a tent. And the tent starts to sag because a bunch of bags and clothing and things that you honestly don't immediately recognize but are really neat start hanging from it, and it's kind of dangerous, honestly, is your first thought.
Oh God. And her inner klepto is just looking at all the shiny and the colors and the stuff that's moving. And it's like a cat that's having catnip dangled in front of her. There's all of the shiny and she is just twitching, trying to behave herself.
Hey, Yos, now she's looking like you on our first day in the academy.
Can can Chef see this?
Yes.
I would
You're
like
like
to.
20, 30 feet away, but yeah, you can see it all.
I would like to huck a copper at the back of her head.
Roll me flat dex, the d20.
So D20 plus 1.
D20 plus whatever your dex mod is, yeah. So you rear back, so you pull out a copper, you rear back, and you go to throw it, and your arm doesn't move. And you look up, and your wrist has just a massive, meaty hand wrapped around it. Please don't throw things at me, wife, now, eh?
I apologize, sir. I was not throwing things at your wife.
No,
I
but if you
was
would have hit her, and
I, wa-
that's not acceptable now, is it?
I was trying to knock some sense into the one over there with purple hair.
You might need something stronger than a single copper then.
Well, you see, she has a very short attention span, and most of it is of the steely variety. So when you give her money, she stops paying attention to the stealing.
We have considerations already made in case people try to steal from us. They tend to not be dumb enough to try twice.
All right, what does Jinx see that just speaks to her that she needs to touch it and needs to try to take it?
I could be really mean.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
You tell me.
You said there's a bunch of clothes and all kinds of different things.
Oh yeah.
Is there some sort of um like a bandolier type thing for my daggers or something shiny that I have already all kinds of bracelets and rings and random shit. Is there any sort of jewelry or something that I would find particularly shiny?
I mean, there's a fair bit of shiny stuff. There's a But I mean, like, there's like, if you're looking for something literally shiny, there are like crystals that are just glowing. Um,
Okay, I'm going to pick up a crystal and I'm going to pull a labyrinth where I'm just flipping it back and forth on my hand and flowing it from one hand to the other
mhm. Yeah,
and
it's
see if I
but
can palm it and make it disappear.
it's lit up like a torch.
I know.
Um, so you could roll me a sleight of hand check if you so desire.
Okay. How do I do that on here? Thievery?
Hmm. All right, 15. You successfully slip it into a pocket. The problem is that the light is now escaping the pocket.
I'm gonna pick up another one, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Then I'm gonna
Okay.
pull the one that's in my pocket out, and I'm going to turn it into a juggle.
Okay.
And I'm just going to keep entertaining with that, and I'm just going to start picking up stuff, and other stuff I'm going to kind of lose and drop as I'm going. It's like, all this stuff is neat, and I am just playing with absolutely everything like a toddler.
Mhm.
And I'm not necessarily trying to steal. I'm going, "Ooh, shiny, this is neat," and I'll find something else that's shiny, so I'll forget about that, so it might drop on the ground. So I'm picking up the next shiny thing, and I'm playing with the next shiny thing, I'm kinda juggling with it, and I've already lost track of 2 or 3 things that are on the ground as I'm walking around the tent. And
How do you say 2 or 3? Because I'm imagining it more as like 2 or 3 dozen.
oh, that's probably more accurate. But I'm just she is just excited. It's like, "Oh, this stuff is so neat. Your tent is beautiful. This stuff is great." And just picking up all of the things. Is somebody going to kind of get me under control, or am I going to try and make off with something?
No,
All
we're
right.
we're just gonna watch.
Okay, so
So,
I'm going to try and wander off with at least one item.
okay. Um, let me find something appropriate. I am going to be looking for. You're going to take a spyglass and try to slip that, um, or rather, a particularly fine spyglass, and try to slip that into a pocket. Roll me a thievery check, please.
All right.
All right. And as you start to make your way out, Ezra's going to stop you. Just to check in, how much of that are you actually going to be trying to take with you?
Um, I don't have any money.
Hmm. That's all right. That's all right. We've been having some. You aren't the first person. You aren't the first mercenary to be coming in and looking for stuff that they can't necessarily strictly afford, which is fine. Which is fine. But so a couple of things. First, your first choice is probably going to want to be one of these. Enter reaches up for a bag that's covered in like silk detailing and is like well made leather. This here is called the spacious pouch. And it's supposed to say it would be who you to pick it up in the future. Simply because if you can't carry everything with you, this will fix your problem.
Oh. And she looks and her eyes get big and she like opens it up and sticks her head all the way in it and starts looking around to see
Wait a minute, there
like
are actual rules for if a living being gets stuck inside. enough air to last for 10 minutes. Okay, you're doing fine.
Echo, 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 echo.
It's not quite that big, but it is.
Oh no, she's completely just making that up.
Oh, she's doing
It's
that
not
for
an echo.
herself.
She's just
Okay.
going echo, 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 and takes her head out. It's like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives it back.
She takes the spacious pouch, hangs it back up, and that'll be all, and that'll be all. Thank you very much for taking a look. I'm glad that I was able to provide some entertainment. Would your friends like to go shop and make a purchase, perhaps?
Let me go ask him. She wanders over and she goes and grabs on Chef's leg. Hey, she's got some really cool shit. She has this bag. I stuck my head in it. It had so much space. I can put all kinds of stuff in. And lots of shiny stuff. And she pulls out. Oh, I think this is actually hers. And hands the spyglass to Chef. I don't know. I don't know how this got here. But she's got some really neat stuff. You should go look.
Chef will take the spyglass and walk back over and hand it to her. Sorry about that, madam.
It's all right. It's all right. Like I said, that's what the words are for.
She said you have a bag that will hold many things.
Oh yeah, the spacious pouch.
How much
How large
would...
are you looking for?
How much... What kind of price points are we talking about here?
So, the great thing about the spacious pouch is that they come in multiple sizes. The bad thing is that I can only make them 2 basic sizes. So, you got your first one, which is the one I showed off, and she pulls down one and she holds it out to you. And this will hold enough for about 3 strong men worth of stuff. And it'll never weigh more than it does. For the record, these are bulk 1. A type 1 spacious pouch holds up to 25 bulk.
Oh, cow.
Which means all of Leftman's which means all of, like, Leftman could put an alchemical lab into this. And there would be room left over for another one. And then another half of one. Big. And that'll run you 75 in gold, of course. And if you're looking to spend big, well then gold's down a second one that's fancier. And you get this, and it'll run you 300, but it'll store about twice as much at the basic level. Now you're probably saying, why does it cost 4 times as much if it only holds twice as much? And to that, the answer is, magic is a pain in the arse sometimes, and sometimes it costs twice as much resources. Sometimes it costs 4 times as much resources to get twice the benefit. I don't make the rules, I just make the enchantments.
You said the one was how much? The first one?
75, and it'll hold 25 bulk.
I do not have that. Anybody want to throw in?
I have 70.
I have 10. Leftman, looking for lab storage?
We haven't even got to all the shops yet, guys.
He just got back.
Sorry, I just got back.
Leftman, we found a pouch of
We found a bag.
endless.
We found a bag of holding.
Yes,
We found a spacious
a
pouch.
spacious
We are
pouch.
legally not allowed to call it bags of holding because bags of
I
holding
want to
are
jump
by
into it.
the OGL folks.
We have a spacious pouch that could fit 2.5 alchemical labs in the tiny one.
If
I'm
we call
going
it
swimming.
certain titles, then the group of magic users who live near the ocean may come after us.
Would you be willing to throw down on said pouch of mysterious storage?
How much are we
Spacious
throwing down?
pouch.
It's
75.
gold.
Unless
75
you want to
gold.
go for the big one, and then it's 300.
Hold on while I try to find where my gold's at again.
Inventory.
Inventory. I have 0 gold. 5 silver pieces is all I have, with some copper pieces mixed in.
Do you
Okay.
have any platinum?
Leftman, I don't have any.
So
Was I supposed to have some?
Yes, everybody was supposed to note down what we got for doing the job.
Yeah, we got 7 platinum each.
Yeah, I don't have any in here. I don't know why.
We did?
Yeah,
Did I give it away?
No,
I think
you
you
Totally
gave
give it away.
I feel like you gave
If
it
you're
to
the
someone.
chef.
That sounds about right.
Maybe I straight up did forget to put it in here. Oh.
I know that I
Uh,
have 7 platinum. I may have bought something since. Oh, I bought the potions. That's right.
mhm.
So I have 7 platinum left from what we got.
I have 11 gold, 23 silver, and 38 copper left. Miss Carmine?
Can you tell who does the financial stuff at home, folks?
Listen, I have 7 platinum because I used all my other stuff. So
So I have moolah, but I have a very massive purchase that I'm dropping when we get back to town. So I can't spend any of my money.
I'm trying to remember what is it that Carmine wants to get.
New clothing, because I'm currently walking around with
yes.
like ragged rags right now.
And
Yes,
very nice
yes.
gloves, thank you very much.
You have clothing on order.
Leftman's just gonna go ahead and shove his hand into his mouth and pull out a wad of coin, particularly these 5 silver pieces and 37 copper pieces, and say, "This is all I got."
All right, I could contribute technically 14 gold. Well, 13, pardon me.
And you guys are trying to get to 75.
Yeah, and Aki has...
I have 70 gold in platinum.
And I have a question. I just noticed this.
Yes?
Can they look at whatever the fuck this is that I got? Because I just got given this. I was never told about it or anything. I just took it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull out this 2,000-year-old amber then. Be like,
Mhm.
identify.
Are you
Maybe I can
literally
bargain
going
with
to
it.
say identify, or are you going to, like, word it diplomatically?
No, I'm gonna word it diplomatically.
All right.
So what do you say, Carmine?
You mentioned relics earlier and how fancy things do fancy things. I'm not sure if this is fancy, but what do you think of this?
Are you showing it to Yosh or Eska or Esha or both?
I'll show it to the big guy first,
All
since
right.
he was the one who told us the story.
Okay. So why don't you get your little buddy in there and he can come out and he can help with this. So amber is a really interesting material because a long time ago it was sticky, so stuff will get like stuck into it and so on. Um, where did you get this?
I really don't fucking know.
All right, so you whisper some words over
Oh,
it.
sorry, Archer gave it to me. I found it in my notes.
Yeah. So oh the Kenyas over there gave it to you. Okay, good to know. Um, so if we're looking at this and it's I mean it's got some interesting specimens in there, but beyond the archaeological interest, I'm not picking up anything particularly magical. Then Sebastian croaks. Yeah, some of that stuff looks like it'd probably taste pretty good, but it's a rock with some bugs in it.
Um, okay. Thank you.
It's all right. It's it, it's fine. I'm perfectly happy to answer questions that to answer questions that the customers have there. It's just this this lady and her frog. Do you guys mind coming in where it's a little bit quieter?
Sure, sure.
I meant the lady and her frog.
Yeah, he's trying to
Oh,
isolate us.
I'm trying
Um,
to get Carmen and Sebastian away from the group.
she'll kind of look at Aki and Chef warily to see if they're okay with it.
It's not going to be nothing dangerous. I'm um just going to the back side of the forge there, and
Uh,
he's going to turn around and he's going to go back to the forge and he's going to pull out what looks like a blank rock, kind of like the ones that he has hanging on the wall, and he's start working on them.
if
okay.
you feel weird at any point, just holler and we'll be there in a jiffy.
Chef is going to maintain line of sight while being out of listening distance.
They're I know that it's ogre sized, but it's still like the anvil is like chest high on Carmine and not like over her head.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch without hearing. Just keep an eye
So
on it.
Mr. Froggy there, guy there, um, are you gonna tell her that you're a seed or am I going to? I don't know. It kind of sounds like you just rendered the whole fucking thing moot, doesn't it?
What the fuck? Uh, okay. Do explain, someone.
All right. So you remember how the big guy was talking about relics earlier
Right?
and how they're magical items or beings that get stronger the more they interact with certain people?
Right.
I'm a relic, or rather, I have the potential to become a relic. So
Um,
congratulations. The big boss has put a lot of resources into you, and you need to not fuck it up.
oh. Well, it'd be nice if Big Boss, ever told me what the heck I'm here for. But that's besides the point. Conversation for later.
That's
I'm
part
sorry,
of
you
the
can be a
process.
relic?
Yeah. All right. So he climbs. Hey, big guy, is it all right if I borrow the anvil for a moment? Go ahead, Derry. Sebastian jumps out of the bucket and lands on the anvil and turns around so that he's looking at you. All right, Kami, here's how it works. Every relic is going to have two aspects. All right?
Okay.
Those aspects are going to, sometimes they're going to be connected to each other, sometimes they're going to be entwined with each other, sometimes they're going to have very little. All right? I
Okay.
can feel this magic forming in me, and I can pick out what the aspects are going to be. All
Oh,
right? So mine are going to be shadow and artistry.
okay.
Know how you always painting? I'm going to make you better at
Oh,
it. And just like the big boss, there's a lot of stuff having to do with hiding in the shadows and never actually telling people what you're doing. I'm also going to
right.
make you better at that. More than the magic already.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the redhead's approach is going to do. I'm not sure what the big one's so what the other big one's sword is going to do. But that's what I'm going to have going. And if you have some more questions, you can ask me. Uh, Assuming that the guy with the anvil hasn't gone through everything that he knows about these things. Oh, believe me, I have there, eh? All right, so maybe don't ask it. And I'm not sure what the goblin on the other side is getting up to, but given how well she was getting along with the half pint, probably nothing good. Then he looks up at you. You got any questions?
If you become a relic, what happens to you? Do you change?
I'm still going to be me, and you're still going to get power through me, if that's what you're concerned about.
I'm just making
But
sure
I
you don't
might get
turn
more
into something
colorful.
else.
I might get more colorful. I might grow fucking wings made of darkness. I don't know what the fuck is gonna happen.
Oh,
Right?
um, okay. Just you know, thanks to Big Boss, some more Eldritch horror. What's new? Big Boss kind of is Eldritch horror, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, yeah, kinda.
Yeah. He makes me see some shit. You are also part of that shit, but I'm sure you've seen worse because you are the worst shit from
Eh,
him. You can turn into that. So take that as a compliment, if you will.
look, I'm not
'Cause,
about to start growing like 4 extra legs like the big boss has got, but like,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow, if you got questions, you know where to find me. I'll be in my bucket.
And your bucket. Yep.
And he hops back into his bucket. Thanks for letting me borrow that, big guy. Well, you're welcome, Derry. So, thank you very much for coming back in here. That frog sounds like he'd be really handy to have around sometimes.
As long as he has his source of water, he's fine.
Well, say what you will about living in a swamp, we got plenty of that. Gotta be careful about drinking it, though. You never know when it'll piss off the gators. Of course, after I punch
Right.
the one in the snout, they haven't messed with me.
Fair enough. Well, thank you.
If it works, it works.
She's gonna slither on out
If it
of the
ain't broke,
bucket.
we can make it better.
Well, anything else we want to do?
What time is it?
In game or out?
In.
11 in the morning.
You all want to head back and get some lunch?
Sure do.
I guess we will head back to
Okay.
the Goblin D's balls. Or whatever the name of the inn is.
The Goblin D's
These
nuts.
nuts.
And get some feed.
Yep, there's food. It's pretty good. Chef is still annoyed that he doesn't fit into the kitchen. And meal's going to be 3 silver from all of you.
I got it. I'll
So
cover
that'll be a
everybody.
gold and a half.
It is marked.
And where are we going with the rest of the day? You can head down to Dry Pen. You can try to go to the academy.
I think we will wait for that.
We're going to the academy.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta hit up the one.
Yeah, the gatekeeper.
Bewan.
Bewan. Yeah, let's do that then.
Very well.
If everyone else wants to, at least. Oh, did we ever decide on if we were getting that pouch, by the way?
Carmi distracted me, and then
I don't think we had the money. I think it just
never
got
actually
dropped.
Yeah, I think we're
succeeded
too
I'm
poor.
broke.
sending the money.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, you guys had the cash on hand. It's just
I was gonna say we do have it.
It is, do
I
you
would
want to
just-
spend all your money, basically?
Yes. I'm good on the pouch for now.
Mm.
I think we should take at least one more job.
I'm cool with that.
Then the
To-
academy, everyone.
To uni we go.
All right. I'll guess I'll lead the charge then.
all right.
And we'll get into a boat and kindly ask the kind boat keep to take us to the island of the university.
Are you guys students already, or what?
We're actually are there to meet with the gatekeep.
Are you students in that?
I'm hoping to become one.
All right, we're in the middle of a term, and I love myself too much to try to take somebody to that island. Well, we're in the middle of a term, so you're gonna have to find somebody else. And the first boat starts pulling away.
We wait for another one.
Mm-hmm. Hi, where y'all going?
He'll show a platinum piece and he'll say, the college in the center island.
You want to go to the academy in the middle of a term? Are you dumb or are
Yes.
you crazy?
Yes.
All right, but I ain't docking fair.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I choose to live.
Can I rent your boat then?
Oh,
And
no,
I will
no.
go myself.
All right, so here's how this is going to go. I'll take you and I won't take your friends. And I'm not going to stop at the dock, but you're going to have to stand up and you're going to have to jump onto it.
Fine.
I'll slow down for you, but I ain't going to stop.
Fine.
All right. And he holds out his hand for that platinum piece.
Gives him the platinum piece.
Mark it down.
I'll be back, you guys. And if you don't hear from me, well, you won't hear from me, I guess.
I need you to roll me an athletics check, please.
Yes. I think this is 15.
All right. So, like the goblin said, he took you around to the southern pier. It's a little closer to the academy, which is in fact the big building that you guys decided was very demure. And he slows down to almost a crawl. All right, here's your not a stop. Have fun.
Thanks.
Stand up. And he pulls within like a foot and a half of it, so you can just take a big long step over. And as you pick up your second foot and land firmly on the way here, the boat speeds up behind you and leaves you here.
Okay,
Good luck.
Jinx wants to try to bullshit a boat person to take the rest of us over.
I'm going to ask that we stick with Aki for the moment.
Okay, fair enough.
Aki, you are on an island, surrounded by what seems to be like communal living spaces, and you're on kind of the southern half of it. It is dominated by a single large structure. Out front there is a sign, the Academy of Tower Place, original site of the Eponymous Tower, one entrant at a time.
Aki will just kind of look around, see if anyone is around first.
Nope.
He'll just take a deep breath and just start walking forward then.
There is a large door that seems to be made of copper or brass. And you knock on it,
Yes.
and nothing happens. So you knock a second time, nothing
Yeah.
happens. What do you do?
I'm gonna just kind of look around to see if there's any. Since there's no one around.
Roll me a perception check because you're looking around particularly.
Okay.
The walls
24.
are on a natural 20. The walls are thick, and the door is set about a foot and a half into the doorway, and carved into the inside of it is you don't happen to read Elvish, do you?
I do. Yes, I do.
In about a half a dozen different languages, including what you recognize as Dwarvish, but I don't think you actually.
No,
Uh,
I do not read Dwarvish.
but thankfully, one of the languages is Elvish, and it says "knock thrice and wait to enter."
And Aki will do so.
You knock a third time, and there is a moment. You're like, "Crap! Did I knock thrice fast enough?" You just hear from within, "Enter." You
Uh,
open the door to a sumptuously carpeted room. You are being flanked by a pair of statues, and like halfway across the room is a massive desk. And standing behind the desk, atop a gigantic chair, old man in a turban holding a lantern, be reading something. Behind him is framed by a second door, and flanking him on the top of either side of his desk is a brass statue of a falcon. Come in, come in. You're not a student.
uh, no, not yet.
It's the middle of the term. We are not accepting new students at this time.
I understand that it's the middle of the term. Um, I'm actually looking for an individual that might be a student or could potentially be a professor here, maybe?
Does this person have a name?
He goes by Heyman.
You say this person goes by instead of this person is named. Does this person have other pseudonyms?
Well, that I don't know. It's kind of the fickle fiend of it all. Could be his real name and could be look,
I remember the name of every single person who walks through this threshold. Hockey said. I assure you, we have no Haman. Or have we?
the only thing I really truly have to go off of is this. And he'll show the brooch to him as he steps forward just a teensy more.
I can see it from there. Thank you very much. An interesting construction. You know what this is?
I don't know.
Gave it to you, this Haman person.
Yes, he's my mentor from where I'm from.
Are you not proud of your origins, boy?
My origins aren't where I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as pride goes, it's more of the place that I was there for survival. So no, I guess I'm not entirely proud of where I come from, but
Perhaps proud is the wrong word. Perhaps a better word is to remember from whence you, at least in your case. I confess this is rather new to me. Normally I have to deal with arrogant little pricks. Think that because their parents have money, they're just going to let them through my doors. Still, you accept gifts from everyone who simply gives them. Expects you, not ask questions.
I think it's more so of I accepted a gift from an individual that is the closest to a parental figure that I've had, and I have
You need
plenty
to
of
find
questions.
better parental figures.
That goes to show, yes. Um, as far as questions goes, the individual is no longer here for me to ask questions. Hence why I'm
Indeed.
trying to find them.
I would have remembered such a fine brooch coming through here. I confess I do not.
I see.
If this is all you may leave,
I'm also am interested in where this feather also came from as well, because it was along with the brooch. Not sure if it's a clue to the origins of it, but I was told that I should speak to a bay one.
I am Behuan the Just.
And then I'm a little confused because the gentleman that works with runes has said that he's seen someone with the brooch come through these parts.
Perhaps he has come through the city. He has not come to the academy. And yes, young Yos, I remember him. He and his wife attempted to invite me to their celebration, but frankly, I could do without thinking about the two mammals trying to make a mammal.
Then I guess
It seems unnecessarily wet.
I'm a little confused because he's the one that said that this individual did come to the academy. So is it true that you might have an individual that you don't know of then?
Are you accusing me of sloth in my duties, or are you accusing me of rank incompetence?
Not at all. In fact, I'm just simply trying to
I invite
understand.
you to rescind your previous statement.
I'll resend it as soon as I get more information.
Aki Setsuna, be gone from this place. He brushes his hand gently in your direction, and you are inexorably dragged out of this room. That could have gone worse for you. I'm
Aki is
just going
just
to commit to that. That could have gone worse.
Aki's just gonna look around, see if there is a boat at one of the docks.
There is a boat at the northern dock.
Is there someone that's manning it, or is it just empty?
It's empty right now, but there's a goblin scurrying up from behind you. Hey, sorry about that. Sorry about that. We don't get a lot of traffic this time of year, so I was just sleeping underneath the tree up there. Um, so where are we going?
Well, if you must know, my
Hey,
professor has requested more supplies at the Swamp Oasis Mundane Goods.
why aren't you in uniform then? But let's go.
Right. Godspeed.
All right. He takes you back over across. Hey, he gets like halfway across. Hey man, I don't know what you were thinking coming out here in the middle of the term, but you're not the first person I've had to take the trip of shame after they don't get into the academy. It's all right, man. They'll let you try again next time.
I appreciate the.
Yeah, it took me 3 shots to get in.
So you're a student too.
Graduate.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I enchanted the boat myself.
What study specifically?
Like I said, mostly enchanting, a little bit of animal breeding, but that's just because the family got it in their heads to try to make a better gator, and that's how we wound up with swamp drakes. And picked up a little bit of that along the way, but I, once I made my boat and once I took my boat out here onto the river, I just kind of realized that like having this is where I was meant to be.
Hmm.
Yeah.
By curiosity, are you the one that mans the boat for when the term starts, so you get to see all the students?
I mean, that's kind of an all hands on deck sort of a situation. So I'm one of the ones that they trusted to do like the daily runaround stuff.
Then I guess
This
I, c-
conversation is happening like all the way across.
I guess I could ask you this question then.
Yeah, sure.
I'm looking for an older individual. He has long locks like mine.
Yeah.
Had a brooch that's similar to this.
Yeah, I thought that looked familiar.
Do you know where he went?
Um, came through 2 months ago. Was here for like 2 days and then fucked off.
What direction do you remember?
Only one right out of town.
Fair enough. Did
I
he
mean, like
mention?
theoretically, you could go like north and wind up in Cadiz, but you're crossing an awful lot of swamp and there's scary shit out there.
Understandably. Do these feathers by any chance look familiar? Uh, Knowing that you study animal handling and all.
Um, I was more of like actual animals. If you're looking for something, so I got nothing on those, but uh, legends and mythologies and whatnot, you'd wind up getting something that's a little bit more you're looking for. Because every time I look at them, they're a different color, like they're shifting and that sort of stuff. And
So you think that this is a more of a magical creature rather than a
oh yeah, for
primal?
sure. Um, so if you get a chance at maybe try the Snot Sneed, Gemsifs, and
Uh,
um, yeah, just kind of check in with the
who who is the individual?
Gemsif.
Do you mind spelling that, please?
JEMZYFS. Gemzips.
Oh, capital Z.
Nah, it's not actually supposed to be capital. That's just Catherine in their daily life randomly capitalizing letters. Yeah, Gemzips. Yeah. She's the chief around here, and she likes reading up about like old legends, creatures, and weird stuff like that sort of. I tend
Thank
to do
you.
better when I can like put my hands on something.
I understand. Thank you. If you don't mind me reminding me of your name.
I never gave it. But sometimes it's easier if us bow tribers don't give people names. Because like I said, it took me 3 tries to get in. Some people it takes even longer, and they don't want to give up, and they think that sometimes hurting the people around them is a way to convince the academy to let them in, and it doesn't work. And I'll tell them that it doesn't work. But giving somebody a name means that you're giving them power. That's and sometimes that's a bad idea. So anyhow, good luck out there, mate. Take care. And
Um,
if Baywan is mad at you, give it a month. He'll get over it.
Fair enough. He'll get mad at some
Oh, he'll
other
get mad at
poor
some
sod.
other sorry sod in the meantime. But that
Ah,
sorry sod doesn't have to be you.
fair enough. Just so you know, not everyone in the world is just looking for power.
You know that, and I know that.
Have a
But
good term then.
hey, take care. We got about a month and a half left in this. Then
Best of
2 weeks
luck.
of insanity, and then it's back to my nice, calm, cozy life.
Thank you again. And he'll just step off the boat and just start heading back.
He actually pulls the boat up to pulls to a complete stop to let you out. Like the
This
last
time.
Oh no, it's a different driver.
Yes, yes.
And then he turns around and he pulls away and he's like, "Hey, have a good one."
Aki will just step off and gives like a courteous nod and will start to walk back towards the inn.
They walk back to the goblin. These nuts. I came up with that in like 10 minutes before the last session that we played, and I still love it. Been giggling about it like a fucking school child for the past month. It's great.
Aki will just be coming up and he'll just have a look of not necessarily sadness, but more so of determination rather than anything.
You good, buddy?
You came back fast.
Well, I got more questions than I did answers, but questions aren't necessarily a bad thing. But I think I have another lead to keep following this thread. And I feel like I want to keep pulling on this thread to see it through, so. But I have more time on my hands than I expected, so what about y'all? Anything exciting while I was gone?
Um. Well, I
I
have
mean,
an
there's
idea,
two
Aki.
goblins, and you can't tell if they're trying to have a bar fight or stand on top of each other's heads, so that's kind of funny.
Maybe a little bit column A, column B. You were saying something, Carbine?
I have an idea. If we keep trying to follow a thread and we can't necessarily find any leads in this town, but we're for sure that your friend came through. We could also maybe, I know it was a month and a half ago that they apparently last saw this person, so that kind of time is sort of against us, but possibly we can do the opposite and have your mentor come to us instead. I just don't know if it would work.
How would we go about this?
Um, so it says we're gonna do a little bit of sprinkling. And Carmen and wants to work with Aki and basically like we can sit down together in downtime and think of some sort of rumor or something that possibly could bring him and back to the town if he was in this town long enough that the fellow people would spread. I
Um,
don't know. That's just an idea. We don't have to do it if you don't want to. If the thread doesn't work of us trailing person to person.
so I will tell you that mechanically this would work better if you guys were in, say, Slacho, because in Slacho a rumor will spread beyond Slacho.
Okay. But this
Our
would stay
place,
here.
the folks who live in the Magocracy tend to not believe the Magocracy very
Okay. Never
much.
mind then.
Well,
You
it's
could go
not a bad
swap.
idea though, because
That's
we
all.
only have one path out of this town.
Yeah.
If we wanted to go back, we could.
Also, Arthur is there, Charmy's
Arthur,
boyfriend.
Arthur is also there.
Okay.
Now that we know that, well, now that I know how I have a relic, we know that Chef has a relic.
Hi, this is an above board table, a message from the game master. Everybody is going to get one. There is not overlap in people's aspects, because I decided that that would be fucking cheap. Everybody's gonna get a cool shiny thing that gets better as they get stronger. Okay?
Is mine gonna be
Okay.
attached so I don't lose it?
Um, no. But I think that
Fair
you
enough.
appreciate the aspects I've picked out for you. I hope everybody will.
It might be worth making a pit stop back at Arthur. He might know a little bit about relics.
Yeah. But I think finding your mentor might be more important, especially if we're finding a lead at this point.
Yeah. I do have one individual I do want to stop by before we leave.
Okay.
Um, they may know something about these feathers, and based upon talking with the boatman, it seems that we may be dealing with some magical creatures rather than primal animals. Which,
All right.
could lead to some other adventure as well. And Chef, I do believe that we have a list to follow as well for you.
You would be correct, sir.
Does it have anything to do with magical creatures on your list?
You would be correct, sir.
So we could potentially ask this individual about creatures.
Speaking of which, pull out the list. Anything glowing?
Let me check. The right hand of a petrified noble.
Is here.
Is somewhere within about a mile of you. Probably in the academy that they won't let you into.
Fair enough.
You know, if you were going to go out and guess.
Well, I didn't know if that was the thing that our girl over at the Secret Storms and Stars Not Runes would have.
Or it could
Runes, not runes, mundane goods, now chemical supplies is just there to guide, is just there for to make it easier to pick out where you guys need to go to get the thing that you want. It's not actually a part of the name. So it's just secrets, storms, and stars, or the well-tempered anvil. Not the well-tempered anvil runes.
Alright, so y'all want to call it for the night, and we will head back to Slatchow tomorrow?
Let me stop by this individual first, and then let's call it a night next.
We got your back, homie.
I'm gonna head over to the next boat that we have and ask to take us to Gemsith.
Hell are you to go asking for Auntie like that? Don't you know that she's right there? And he points you out one of the buildings behind you.
No, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fucking weird. Well,
Well,
yeah, that's where the Senat Senate is. So, like, I guess you don't need a boat.
thank you. And Aki will just lead us to
That one.
the house and
It seems to be more of like a meeting hall.
he'll walk in and see.
All right. There isn't there's a doorway. There isn't a door. There's just like a hanging tapestry that's been like cut into slits. So you just put it up and poke your way in. And sitting inside is a um corpulent goblin matron surrounded by younger goblins. Hey, how can I help you? What's going on there, bud? Or I'm sorry, what's going on there? How can I help you?
Hi there. I was told to speak with you about uh, identifying some feathers.
Were you told to speak to me or were you told to find gemsifs?
I was told to find gemsifs.
She leans over. Auntie! And a withered old crone of a goblin comes out. Oh, hello there. What's going on? Hey there. The elf
Uh,
says he wants to talk to your auntie something about feathers. Oh, all right.
Hi.
Hello? What's your name there, friend?
It's Aki Setsuna.
It's a pleasure to meet you there, Aki said. Gems, how can I help?
I'm trying to identify some of these feathers here on the creature that they came from. And he'll
It's pretty.
take them and place them on the counter in front of him.
He speaks a word in an arcane language you do not immediately recognize. Aki Satsuna, Sonny, where did you get this?
They were left behind by my mentor, along with this brooch.
I mean, the brooch is the feathers, right?
The feather is inside the little brooch. It's
Yeah.
basically like the feathers themselves are attached.
It's
I
all
can
attached. It is a single.
yes. I can remove the feathers because I made it into like a makeshift little pen thing.
Yeah. So I have a quick question for you there, Aki Satsu. Sonny,
Y- yes.
come down, come down.
He'll come down.
Little lower, little lower.
He'll be hands and knees.
All right, she grabs you by the ear. How in the bloody hell did your little mentor get his hands on a bunch of Simurgh feathers?
God.
Screaming into your ear. And as the word bloody and as hell leaves her mouth, all of the goblin children gasp and turn to face you. Aww. Auntie used a bad word. Aww.
Oh, well, I'd love to ask him that question as well. And he's like rubbing his ear
Oh, she
with
hasn't
his.
let go.
Uh, I have no idea how he got his hands on them, and he's no longer here for me to ask.
I should. She lets go. I should help not. So, does that answer your question there, Mr. Aki Satsu, Sonny?
Um, Not quite.
Oh, yeah.
Where can I find these creatures exactly?
Why don't you and your friends follow me into my library? And she turns and she starts walking slowly through the room.
He'll get up and he'll just kind of look around at everyone and just
One of the
no.
kids raises his hand. Auntie Gemsifs, if you use a bad word, does that mean that we can use bad words too? That's a good thought there, Colin, but no. See, when you get to be my age, you understand there's a time when it's appropriate to use bad words and there's appropriate bad. Oh, when do you get to be that old? When I go and tell you you are. Okay. And she leads you into a room that is not quite tall enough for Chef to stand upright comfortably. That is lined floor to ceiling with bookshelves. And she walks up to one of them, says, On the second one down from the top, there should be a tome marked Birds of Legends. I'd appreciate it if somebody could pass that to me.
Aki will rush over and help. He goes, this one?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
He'll slowly grasp the tome, and then place it onto the table.
So the Semarg, or, well, several of them have been spotted at once. So a Semarg was first sighted by the desert-dwelling people far to the south. Consider it to be a herald to a light Boynesworth. Well, others presume it to be the avatar of a deity. They're absolutely gigantic birds. And the distance they seem to be birds as previously mentioned. But you get up close to the head of a large wolf. They're known to be act as intermediaries in massive world-threatening conflicts. They've served as agents of deities or served occasionally as vigilantes out in their own brands of justice, normally involving demons, devils, other nasties. Often, a fair number of them will find themselves in the service of gods, but well, suffice to say, gods don't come very much to Whithe.
What about
All of this is from memory as she's flipping through the pages of the book. She holds it up to you. There you go. This should be the right pages.
thank you. Just by curiosity,
Yeah.
why more? You said that gods are hard to come by here. Does White house more demons and devilkin?
Not so much that it houses them, so much as it is things that come to White tend to stay in White. Ones don't like staying in very much.
Got it. Just so many questions that I have that fortunately not many people can answer. But thank you, Miss, for this information.
Please call me Auntie.
Auntie, by any chance, do you remember seeing a individual that had this brooch at all?
For the first time, she looks up at you. Her eyes are completely clouded over by cataracts. Sonny, I haven't seen anything worse.
Apologies, Auntie.
It's all right. It's all right.
This
You're,
individual,
you're
though,
Italian. They tend to ignore those. Please,
this individual, he would have come through looking for resources on this, most likely as well. Probably about a couple months back.
people come, people go. Some might stay, but I learned when I was a younger lass to not get too attached to folks.
Understandable. Well, thank you so much for this information, and I hope for continued health for you.
I appreciate that. Put the book away before you see yourself out.
Of course. He'll close the book, put the tome away, and just kind of like nudge everyone to leave. Well, we have multiple directions that we could go now, folks. And if I know my mentor and his studies, then most likely he may have gone towards these creatures. So, but I still don't think that your plan is a bad plan, Miss Carmine. So it's up to y'all. Should we head back tomorrow?
Don't see a reason why we shouldn't.
Yeah.
All right.
Shall we get some feed and crash for the evening?
I think that's the good idea for sure.
All right.
And we'll head to the D's Nuts Inn.
The gobble in these nuts. Yeah, that joke still hasn't gotten old to me. Yeah, the 5 of you file in. Some of you have had a good day, some of you have had a bad day, some of you have just had a day. And it'll be another 3 silver apiece for dinner, and that's going to include the charge for your room.
Someone else got silver. I only got platinum, y'all.
All right, hi Elvin, hi Roller.
I will pay the 1.5 gold.
All right.
Jinx is turning out her pockets, going, hang on.
You guys wake up the next morning and start making your way over to Slot Shop. Thank you all very much for coming out and joining me. I had a lovely time playing with y'all tonight. Once again, if anybody has any questions about runes and how they work, feel free to get in touch with me. If anybody has a concept of a magical item that they would like to purchase in the future, let me know. Because I get the feeling that y'all are going to be coming back to Tower Place at least a couple more times throughout your adventures, and this is pretty much the place that you'll be able to buy magic stuff. Where at least where you'll be able to like get it in a shop and not at an auction.
Yeah.
So I would appreciate it if folks would keep an eye out for that sort of stuff as usual. Everything's on the archives. And thank you all very much for coming out. I know it's been a while, but I still really appreciate you guys. I really care about y'all. And I hope that y'all have a good time. And I will look forward to playing again next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.